Hey, what's up? I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to this channel and give this video a like.
Yep. Podcast below in the description.
By the way, you just saw some breaking news. Who's hiring somebody? The Panthers?
One of the Seattle guys is Scott Fitterer is going to the Carolina Panthers to be their next general manager. And he's been a guy, I think the Niners have interviewed him before. He's interviewed for a bunch of jobs.
Yep.
He's been Schneider's, that kind of crew of Schneider guys have been interviewing, kind of like Patton, who became the Bronco GM.
General.
There's been the name of those 3 or 4 guys, even above, I'd say, Adam Peters, that have been in the GM circuit, feels for like the last 5 years, that every time a GM job comes open, like the same 3 or 4 guys like legitimately interview. And it's always hard to tell, like, do they get offered? Do they stay? Because sometimes the jobs are bad. This year it felt like guys were ready to like make plunges, right? Ton of GM jobs open, like it's my time to shine.
Right.
And it's like, damn, Adam Peters did feel like he was going to leave. You know, I'll have to do some research whether he was really wanted the job, but he did go to the second wave of interviews where it came between him and this guy from Seattle. So would you go to a second round of interviews if you didn't want a job, if just in your own personal experience like that?
Yeah.
I don't think you would. You think so?
For a raise? Just for the to me it'd be as simple as like, are these on Zoom? Am I gonna fly there?
No, he flew there.
So
the second round interview.
Yeah, so to me it's just the experience of that, because he might, the next time he sits down in front of somebody, it might be for a job he really wants, right? So I would do it. I think depends. Like, you talk yourself into like, this might be worth exploring. That's what you got to tell yourself, I think. So the Lions are hiring the Rams director of college scouting, Brad Holmes. So that job's out. The Falcons hiring the Saints VP for pro personnel, Terry Fontenot. Well, I guess we'll see with the Jags. But I think that's it, right? Adam Peters shut out of a job, which, look, like you said, some of these guys, like George Patton was the guy the Niners talked about a few years ago. Our guy, your guy, Louis Riddick. This is more of an Adam Peters thing. We did wonder, like, what's going to happen? What if Adam Peters watched Zach Wilson a lot, then he leaves? So his potential, the Broncos job felt like one. But as we said, George Patton took that one. So it is the Niners' gain, at least for another year. And we'll see if it happens with Saleh, too. Doesn't feel like it's going to happen with Saleh, but it could. It's a reminder.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets feel like the spot where Saleh is either going to land or not land, because you never know. Like, would Holmes, this new GM in with the Lions, want Robert Saleh? There's no guarantee. The one thing about going to Carolina for Adam Peters, and this I wonder leaves a little apprehension. I don't know if it's the right word, but just leaves a little pause. You're not truly in charge. Right. They have a coach that's on like a 15-year, $150 million contract, right? I mean, in all seriousness, it's not quite the Gruden deal, but it was like 70 for 7 or 7 for 70 or something. It was enormous. Or maybe it was 7 for 65. Remember, it was huge, 9 a year. Like, that guy's got the juice.
Yeah.
Like, even though the Jaguars don't officially, once Urban signs, have a GM, Urban has the juice. Like, right. Balky, ultimately, if he gets the job, will answer to him. That's what made the Denver job pretty unique. It was like, well, that guy's going to get to choose a bunch of stuff. And you saw he got a 6-year deal. I wonder if Adam Peters went, well, as you see, I think more and more GM jobs are just going to come open now. Maybe I can get a job one day where I get to pick the coach, right? Yeah. And I've got a pretty good gig. I make a lot of money with the Niners. We're good. I have a good coach. I have a good working relationship with my quote-unquote boss. Even though it's like John Lynch is his boss, it does feel in a weird way like they're equals, right? The way we talk about Adam Peters, like they got Adam Peters, like he's doing the grunt work. Yep. Like Draymond isn't the star on the Warriors, but the Warriors cannot win without Draymond.
Draymond gets his credit, and Adam Peters gets his credit. Yeah, not that he's necessary from what you've. It doesn't sound like he's the guy who's necessarily after the credit, but nonetheless, he has his influence in the draft room. He watches the team and knows I put my fingerprint on that group, right?
Yeah, and he. Like Fitterer, like I would say definitely General Patton with the Vikings, who's now the Bronco coach. He is Broncos GM. Adam Peters, I would say, moving forward, is the number one guy on the market. Like, just of the guys that haven't become GMs, wouldn't you say? That after, because Ballard was that guy forever, and General Patton, it felt like was right behind him. Guy, I read a couple articles on General Patton, aka George Patton. Does not look like General Patton. The glowing reviews are like unknown sources from Minnesota, like, this guy, he could have been a GM 5 years ago. He's the highest character. He's not a self-promoter, best evaluator on our staff, just one after another. Like, this guy is beloved. It's like, God damn, how'd this guy not get a job? His references sound amazing.
Yeah. Gutekunst was another guy who was in that kind of felt like, remember the Niners interviewed him a few years ago? He just became the Packers GM.
Yep.
So he didn't have to move. That was another name.
Elliott Wolf was like that for a while, but then he didn't get the Packer GM, and then he kind of fell off a cliff. There is something to be said, and coaches are big on this. It's why they always like, why did that coach take that job? Is striking while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
And just taking advantage of your situation. Then in a weird way, controlling your own destiny.
I'd say Louis Riddick's in the category of every year he's in the mix, right?
Yeah. I'd say for all the guys not quote unquote in the NFL, he's the number one candidate that way. Like, how's he going to stop getting GM interviews?
Yeah, it feels like it's bound to happen. All right, so there's just one that we saw that note before we finished up the podcast. Wanted to get that in.
John Lynch can rejoice.
John Lynch Camerazoids.
I don't have to watch as much tape now. Woo!
And the Peters, his kids' grandparents. No, they're not moving away. That's always a big deal for grandparents.
I did just get a text from someone with the Niners. I said, "Damn, Peters didn't get the Carolina gig." Response: I don't know if that's accurate. So you never know.
All right.
I mean, Rap Sheet was saying it. We'll see.
Keep an eye.